Really nice one. Yes. 4 seats, low engine time, beautiful paint job, instruments. Oh my, the price. No, I don't think God can do that much. Here's a 2-seater airplane. Very nice little 2 seats is better than 4 seats because I'm asking God for less. I'm not trying to abuse God. So we looked. Yes. Oh, the price. No, that's a little too much for God, I think. God might think I'm trying to be maybe egotistical. Let's go with something a little. Here's one. The paint job is no good. The engine is worn out. The tires are flat. The brakes don't work. The instruments. But it has 2 wings. God, I want this one. And you can't accuse me of wanting too much. I'm asking you for the least common denominator in aviation. Less than this, it wouldn't be an airplane. And God up in heaven, David, 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 according to your faith be it unto you. The day that I went to look at the airplane, a lady handed me a check enough to buy the airplane. What if I would have asked for something else? No, I had to ask for something, a piece of trash. It took me a whole year to paint it, fix it up, get the engine. 1,000 man-hours went into it, and finally it was airworthy. And it has been working all these years, and we put on several engines already. It's a little 2-seater airplane. But it took me a whole year because I didn't trust God. But see, God takes us right where, according to your faith be it unto you, right? He'll take us right where we're at. I've learned my lesson, though. Whenever I ask God for an airplane, I don't ask Him for a worn-out airplane anymore. I said, Lord, this is the equipment that we need to get the job done. And God says, thank you for asking. I learned through this painful experience. The day that I went to look at the airplane, I got the money to get the airplane. Now, let's review the principles again. If God asks you to do something, no matter how difficult it is or how unable you think that you can do it, will God provide for your needs? Absolutely. So get used to it. He's going to be asking you to do things that will put you way outside of your comfort zone, but He will take care of your needs. The next thing He will do, He will ask you to give up some things. And if you think that by hanging on to it, you will do better, please don't make that terrible mistake. Because the Bible principle is all about giving. Give and it shall be given unto you. First you give and then you receive. Have you noticed how it rains? The ground takes a little bit of water and gives it to the rivers. The river takes a little and gives it to the ocean. The ocean turns it right back and gives it away again. Huh? The whole universe rotates on the principle of giving. But human beings, no, we put it away for future days. See, nature doesn't do that. And in the future, throughout eternity, we're just going to be receiving daily and passing it on, receiving it daily and passing it on. Manna in the Old Testament times, you could only use it for 1 day and then it would rot, except for Sabbath. Why? Because nobody was supposed to hoard it. Imagine if you had a manna factory. You hired more people. You collected and made massive warehouses of manna. And then people, if you said, maybe the Lord won't give us manna next week, and then you can come to me and you can buy it because I have a big warehouse. So for 40 years, they learned to trust God. Every day, manna was there. Every day, manna was there. So God says, the next lesson you're going to have to learn is, when He asks you to give, whatever He asks you to do, whatever it is, a church project, a young person, somebody you know, some opportunity, God will tell you, don't miss the opportunity to figure out how God works. Give, and that moment is when God says, okay, unleash the treasury of heaven. They need to receive more than what they give, so now they can give again. Don't keep it. Just become an efficient funnel for God. Receive, pass it on. Receive, pass it on. Just take out your food. Buy food. Buy the food you need for that day and pass the rest of it on. What about your retirement? Is retirement a biblical principle? Where in the Bible does it say, store up for your retirement? Is this heresy I'm talking about, or is this biblical? Now, I'm touching some of you right where it hurts. But it's not me. I'm just telling you. In heaven, are any of you going to have retirement? So are you going to live any differently on earth today than you do in heaven? Well, I will learn to live like that someday. You better learn now before you get to heaven. If you can't learn to trust God with your retirement, that doesn't mean saving. The Spirit of Prophecy talks about some saving. Sister White used to can about 3,000 cans during the summertime for winter. But you never see her storing away 30,000 cans. Right? She would store for the winter time, and next summer we'll take care of next summer's time. Right? And so if you have a little savings, this is not wrong, unless, of course, God asks you to do like I did. If He says, give away all of it, say, I'm not going to miss this opportunity to figure out God. God's just trying to look for an excuse to give me more. You understand, right? I'm just telling you what I did. Some of you may not like it and go back and say, have you heard David said to give everything away? I didn't say that. I said, if God asks you to, don't miss the opportunity. I have no right to tell you what to do. But if God gives you the opportunity, don't miss it. It's a wonderful thing to figure it out. Finally, we have to close now. Finally, after I learned those three, then God gave me the opportunity to jump so far out, something 100 times bigger than I had ever done before. But once I learned those three principles, God is able to provide for your needs. Secondly, the more you give, the more you receive. And finally, go forward without any money. Even if you don't have the money, you see the opportunity, if you'll just go forward and put your feet in the water. I could not buy the airplane, but at least I could do was look for it. Once I found the airplane, called and negotiated a price, then and only then did God give me the money. And then God said, now it's time to think bigger than you've ever thought before. And tomorrow I'm going to share that with you. Unlimited resources. I'm absolutely convinced that very, very soon, probably this year, almost certainly this year, probably next month, God is about to keep a promise that He made to us 4 years ago. I don't know where it's going to come from. I have no idea if God, I met Bill Gates twice. Maybe God will use Bill Gates. I don't think any Adventist will probably be have that kind of money. But God is about to pour out resources for a worldwide work to do anything that is necessary to conquer the world. I'm absolutely convinced. Who can He trust? If God wanted to pour out His resources on somebody, who could He trust? Somebody who's hogging the money or somebody who freely gives? Who would you trust? Somebody who always puts money away in his back pocket or somebody who's perfectly transparent, receives and gives? God is training you to be a manager of resources. And if you can be trusted to be transparent and just take and pass it on, then God says to His angels, that person there finally learned the principles of heaven. Give them more. Not to keep, because they know that as soon as I give it to you, it's gone. I mean, what wonderful thing it would be if I could receive $1 million today, and in 2 or 3 days, it's gone. It's spent. Airplanes, gasoline, schools, evangelism, whatever. Isn't that a beautiful thing? And God says, give him $2 million. It's gone. Lord, I don't have any more. I've already spent it. Not frivolously, on saving souls. I just give you an example. What's going to happen in a few short weeks, and we're convinced of it, is not going to be millions. It may not even be dozens of millions. It may be, and probably will be, hundreds of millions. But I don't know. That's up to God. It may be bigger than I can even think. But God made us a promise, and it's going to happen. And we've already made our plans and our budgets around the world. All our project directors are submitting their budgets. And it's so big, but it's not big enough. I'm surprised that it's not big enough. I thought it took more money to conquer the world than that. Because it's only about 300 million. And I thought it would be billions. That after everybody submitted their budgets from all around the world, all the school expenses, all of the airplanes, all the trucks, all the medical supplies, all of the television networks, all of it, it's still only 300 million. I'm stunned that it's so little. Because there's people that own 300 million. There's Adventists that own 300 million. I thought this was going to be bigger than any Adventist could do. I thought it was only God. And so I'm saying, Lord, I can see that I'm not thinking big enough. There's more things to do.